Faced Widow's Walk, scanning the horizon, watching the sea. The warmth of the fireside guided their creaking ships past the ever-present lighthouses safely into port. Today as yesterday, these sentinels of safety bring gladness to the hearts of the homing mariners.
Hello everybody, it's Friday nights, which means it is fright time with Jonathan Fry and the cast of The Haunting of Seawall Orphanage. If you're new here today, welcome in. You join us in 2020. This is a game of split time zones and split fortunes, question mark, but it is always full of horror, and leading us into the horror is Jonathan Fry. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back here again on Friday. I look forward to this every week. So thank you all for being here tonight. Everybody watching at home, everybody who watches on YouTube. If you're new here, I'm Don, and I'm going to be the narrator today. We're playing an original horror game. It's entirely improvised, and it's about a group of friends telling each other a collaborative modern horror story. So we're playtesting the rules every single week. We're using the feedback that you give us, folks who comment on YouTube or who send us tweets, who jump into our Discord and talk to us on Discord. So if you're watching, you have any thoughts, you want to share anything with us, please join us. You can find links to the Discord down below. We also have a World Anvil page. This is where you can read the rules of the game and follow along. You can also learn more about the setting that we created in our session 0 together, Pretty Marsh Harbor, the island, and all of its people and locations. And you can learn a little bit more about the characters too, the player characters. You can even see their stats, their character sheets. So that's all on the World Anvil. You can check that out down below as well. And that's it for me. I'm just really looking forward to finding out what's going to happen today. I have no idea, but I have a few ideas maybe. That's all I have. I think.
I was saying to chat before I hopped in while I was in the tunnel, you've been smiling a little bit too much this week, and it's a tiny bit disconcerting. It means something bad is coming.
I'm a smiley guy.
I mean, you are a very happy, lovely guy, but Don, it's the evil smile that we know too well. But someone who always brings me joy when they smile is joining us today, and that's the wonderful Ray up in the top corner. How are you doing, friend?
Oh, hey. I'm doing all right. It's great. I always love this game. Fridays are my favorite, so I'm having a ball today. If you don't know me, my name is Ray. I'm with a brick on the interwebs. You can find me at with a brick at most places. I run a game on Tuesday nights over at the Skydomicus Academy, Dungeons and Dragons 5e. And yeah, I play here on Fridays as Staley. So yay, I'm really excited and also really scared for what's about to come. So awesome.
I think that's a perfect segue of feelings to drop down to Josh. How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing fantastic, Charlie. How are you doing? Throw it back real quick.
I'm doing good. I'm in a weird kind of mood tonight. I'm very excited. I've been working really hard today, and now I get to kind of let loose with my friends, and it's very exciting. And you are looking very dapper. Very nice suit,
Thank you. Thank you. So dapper, in fact, before the game, Charlie actually got my name wrong and called me Dosh because how money I look, which tells you everything you need to know about Jacob in 2020. He's become quite well off, is doing quite well for himself, or was, and then someone invited him to a reunion, and it's the best reunion. And it's full of people like Don who like to smile, like clowns, nut jobs who are living in isolation on an island, and mannequins who don't have a choice whether or not they smile because they're mannequins. Yeah.
I'm not saying that Josh may be a tiny bit scarred, but I've seen the therapist bills. But I will say kudos to Josh, because Josh remembered the tiniest detail from our session 0 last week, and I'm so excited to see how other little details from our world do come in and play out. And as Dom mentioned, World Anvil has it all for you. And how is the wonderful Lydia doing today in the middle of our screen?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me back yet another week. Dawn, I think that you look great smiling. I think you should do it all the time. And I think it really suits you. I'm playing Wren. I just watched my best friend get dragged away by a clown. I'm nervous. I'm already sweating. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Lydia Heels. It's just dog pictures.
It is. But what a dog. What a very good doggo that I wish we had to cuddle in this game. Super cute. And let's drop on down in the middle, down to the wonderful Tommy. How are you doing this week, friend?
I'm doing great. I am super excited for it to be Fright Night. And, oh man, the mannequins, clowns, oh my, what is next? Someone in a hockey mask? We'll see. I play Jay Hopkins in this game, and I think he's asked for help in the first time ever in his life, as he was about to be mauled by a vicious mannequin. We don't know what the mannequin was actually going to do, but he's fairly certain that he was about to be mauled by a vicious mannequin.
Such certainty, only one man on this screen truly understands, and that is producer Trav. Hi Trav, how you doing this week?
Hi Charlie. Charlie told me I had an opportunity to take an emergency stress pee and I missed it, and I'm regretting it now. Hi. Spit take. See, I saw that, Lydia. You know, Josh, you know what they say, they smile as they kill, and that's just what I think is going to happen tonight. I'm producer Trav. I produce WebDM. I'm playing Meryl Gross, who is heir to the grocery store fortune, whose parents died on their yacht under mysterious circumstances, and who last episode, all he wanted to do was run to his car. Just wanted to run to his car. That's all I wanted to do, Don. From my mind's eye theater, it was right over there, right? Right over there, right? Within eyesight from what I was thinking about. I was like, hey, can I run to my car? Sure. Which I do. Jacob follows with me, and we're attacked by the bear that I think was the bear from The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, which is one of those odd Stephen King short novels, and it's got like a dire bear in it who's like the spirit of the woods, or like the wrath of the woods or some shit. Is badass. Anyway, I like to think that that's the bear that I gunned down with a 44 Magnum. So that's what we're doing. We're out in the woods, me and Jacob, braving the elements, armed to the teeth, ready to rock. Ice cold, baby.
And
Bring
before we get to tonight's game, Don, before we do,
sorry.
Go ahead.
You used a truth last week to have a grenade, right? I didn't fever dream that. I just wanted to double check, Trav, before
I
we
told
start
him
tonight.
not to shake the bag. I told him not to drop the bag.
Okay.
I told him not to shake it, and then he tried to open it. And then I remember like giving him a gun to basically keep him from looking any deeper into the bag. And then I switched bags with him because one of them you have to be careful with.
Thanks,
But no
Don.
one said
Thanks for that
grenade.
tiny interlude.
No one said
And
grenade,
as
Don. You said grenade. You said grenade, buddy. I want you to remember that.
as the horror continues to build, you have a chance to unlock a horror with our poll today. We are just 5 retweets away from that. I will keep an eye on it as we get into the game. Please keep an eye on chat so you do not miss your opportunity to vote. At 30 retweets, things will be getting darker. At 40 retweets, you get the idea. Things are just going to get worse for us. But things are going to go a little bit better for 5 seconds as I hand over to Past Charlie to tell you about tonight's sponsors. And we all go stress pee. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
All right, let's start our story tonight. So last session, the Foster family reunited after a decade away from each other. But already upon their return to the island, Pretty Marsh Harbor, they've been subjected to strange and unexplainable circumstances. A ghostly siren sounded out across the island and the sky went dark. In the dark, supernatural horrors revealed themselves to the family. Meryl and Jacob fought off a rampaging bear with glowing red eyes. Staley J and the old fire chief, Naomi, escaped a living mannequin wielding a meat cleaver. And within the old rickety church in the woods, a demon, a monster, something in the shape of a clown, emerged from the choking, blood-colored fog. Gigi's father fled, abandoning his daughter and her friends. Wren stood frozen and helpless as the clown grabbed Gigi, pulled her into the fog, and together they disappeared. The sounds of the phantom sirens stopped. The sky grew daylight bright again. It's mid-afternoon right now. The wind is picking up a little bit to a howl. The snow is coming down a little harder, a little thicker now. And the island of Pretty Marsh is sort of a white, pristine, frozen, abandoned place. The battered door to the church is shut tightly as though it had never been opened, had never been broken in, and Gigi is gone. For the moment, Wren, you are alone. So Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets. Some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. Wren, what is one thing about this scene that is true?
She's all alone, right? Like no one else saw this?
The rest of your friends were in various places. You had Jacob and Staley behind you in the woods. Jacob and Meryl are coming close around the back of the building. Jay and Staley are coming up to the front, but they're not here just yet. For the moment, you're alone.
I think without even screaming or anything, she turns and bolts, like into the woods.
Okay. Any specific direction? So imagine the town is somewhere to the southwest of you. There's the lighthouse ruins to the northwest. To the west would be the old orphanage where you grew up. And to the east is a whole lot of forest.
I think just muscle memory would make her run towards the orphanage.
Okay. And the truth that I'll add to this is that like you turn and you bolt. It's actually in the opposite direction that Gigi's dad ran off into the woods a few moments before when he left you there. And you get through the tree line away from this old church and you crash into a figure. Knocks you back down into the snow. Kind of like fall into about a 2-foot mound of snow. And the person that you run into is a leathery-faced, middle-aged woman with dark hair and tan skin, dark-colored eyes. She's got a beat-up old fireman's jacket on and suspenders and a dirty shirt on underneath that, jeans, and she's wielding in both of her hands, looking down at you with wide eyes, a shotgun.
Would I recognize her as Naomi?
I would say so, yeah. If you think Wren would have seen Naomi around town and would remember her from her youth.
Yeah. Is she pointing the shotgun at me?
Right now, she's just kind of like, it's like you body checked her and fell back into the snow, and she's just over top of you, looking down at you.
I would... Don't shoot. Like, probably can't even make full sentences yet. Just so scared. She's also probably freezing.
Wren, does she have a coat? Did she bring a coat out of the car with her?
Probably not like a sensible one.
Yeah.
Probably not one that I should be like in the forest in.
So she's scared and shivering, very cold, and this figure, like, for a moment, she almost levels the shotgun towards you. You can notice there's a little bit of panic in her eyes, and she looks over her shoulder and she takes a step back, and she calls back to Jay and Staley, who are very close, grabbing the two of yours attention. She says, "Is this one of your friends?"
Yeah.
What? Wren, what?
Wren,
I thought you were with Gigi.
I would run straight to Staley and just like hug tackle her, not body check her, but hug tackle.
Are you, Wren? Are you okay? What happened to Gigi? What's going on?
Gigi's gone. I don't know what happened. There was, I don't know if it's in my head. It looked like a clown. That can't be right. Right? That can't be right.
Well, didn't Gigi say that her dad lived with a clown?
That can't be right, though. There's never been a clown on this island.
Oh, his name's Robert.
Robert
He stays with us up in the church. The clown. Yeah. Well, he's not a clown anymore, but he was years ago.
Did we?
She kind of looks towards the
clown?
cabin. Do you have a clown?
Remember
yes.
this clown? Okay.
There's a clown named Robert. He was one of the town, he kind of a town drunkard. He did kids' birthday parties and a bunch of odd ends around town. Whether or not the kids would know him, I don't know if they ever hired Robert to. Probably never did any of your birthday parties.
I mean, I could see the toothaches.
They might have.
Well,
might have.
Like, I think Gigi and I last week went through like every time on the island we saw somebody dressed up as something and like remembered all of those occasions, but there's never a clown.
We should. Where's Gigi?
I just said that she got dragged away by a clown.
Well, then we need to go. We need to go.
Where's Marilyn?
Where did the clown go?
We need to get everyone together.
Okay. Where did Meryl and Jacob go? Are they back yet? Did you see them?
No, not yet. He said he went to the car. It was close, right?
Oh, then we should probably go back to the church. Right?
I think we should. It's safe inside the church, and if Robert's there, we can talk to him. Maybe your friend's inside the church.
We couldn't even get into the church. We couldn't get in. No one would answer the door.
They keep it locked up tight. It's one of the only safe places on the island. But she pulls open her jacket, and you see there's like a ring of keys on her belt loop of her jeans. She gives him a little bit of a jingle. I can get the door open for us, though.
Okay.
Miss Hart, what is going on here? We just had the strangest weather. The siren was going on. There's apparently clowns and mannequins going. What happened here?
Oh.
Right. Well, I'm sure that you have a lot of questions. I have some questions of my own. But let's get somewhere warm and safe first. Okay?
Jay
do
definitely
I
looks like
sense? No, I was gonna say, do I sense that she's being genuine in this, or is there something that she's like not telling us?
Well, let's find out. Roll me empathy. Just a regular empathy roll. So
Okay.
you just need a 4 or higher on one of your dice.
Oh, one sec. There it is. Oh, I rolled and then Fantasy Grounds restarted on me. Hold on. I have real dice. I'll roll real quick.
Okay.
Okay. I have 4 in empathy.
Okay.
I got a 2, a 3, a 3, and a 4.
Okay, you just needed
Never
one
know.
4, so that's barely, like you made it just barely.
I thought it was.
So,
I was
so
like, oh no.
you get to name a truth here. And that truth could be something about whether or not she's telling the truth herself or seems sincere. It could be something entirely unrelated.
Well, considering that she's out here as well and had a flaming axe at one point, she seems genuine. However, there is something that she is not telling us about what happened. But we, like, in the moment, I feel like she's trying to be as genuine as possible, but like ease us in a direction.
Yeah, and we'll say that she kind of gives you a look, Staley, and that kind of like distant, not quite panic, but just a distant, intense expression on her face relaxes just a little bit, and she puts a hand on your shoulder, or at least tries to, if you'll allow her, and she says, "It's gonna be okay. It's safe inside the church. I promise."
Okay, and back to the church.
Jay definitely looked like he wanted to say more, but he's gonna just stop and he's gonna breathe deeply. He's going to, yes, let's go to the church then. And
she kind of looks last at all at Wren. Does Wren look like she's recovering at all, or she?
Yeah, I think she looks terrified still, but I think she's like replaying everything in her head to try to remember like how she got there. I think she barely remembered like that Gigi's dad said that there would be a clown there, and then she remembered that they couldn't get the door open, and I think it's like all slowly coming back to her, and none of it makes sense.
She, before she steps off and cuts back towards the church, which is nearby, just through the tree line, she offers you her left hand, and it's a gloved hand. She says, "Come on, it's gonna be okay."
I'll take her hand.
She gives a little squeeze and kind of not hard, but kind of like guides you along, all of you towards the church. Let's bring in Jacob and Meryl. So Jacob and Meryl were approaching the church from a slightly different direction, and when last we left them, Jacob, I believe, was gonna come around the front while Meryl went towards the back where there's the stained glass windows. So let's call this the start of a new scene, and let's have Meryl name a truth. As the two of you split up, Jacob going around the front and you going around the back of this church, behind it is a large frozen graveyard, been on the island for the entirety of its existence, the town's existence. And the back of the church itself is largely stained glass windows, these 3 large stained glass windows that have kind of faded and frozen in the winter. You can't really make out what shapes and what displays they were supposed to have, but the windows are still intact currently. And as you enter to the back of the church, name one truth about this scene.
A lot of churches don't have rear entrances and exits. They're usually on the side, and be like, if it's small and it's just like a sanctuary, just like a handicap ramp usually or something like that on the side. And so I think he goes around the side that doesn't have that and takes the long way round and goes walking by the graveyard and can't help but notice gross family members in the graveyard and on the headstones, and his last name on a lot of headstones, and he gets distracted by that maybe a little bit, and but otherwise is a hoss and doesn't make a sound and makes his way around the back and gets to the other door, which, if it's old and decrepit and is the only safe place left, is probably locked. And so it probably pisses him off that he made it all the way around and it's locked.
The truth I'll add to this is that before you get to the door, when you're checking out all of the old gross tombstones, the ones that are visible there, as you're taking that long walk around, you find one that you don't remember being there before.
Meryl's done enough.
It's covered in snow, but like you remember, like that row only had 5 in it, but now there's a 6th.
I'm trying to remember if there's reason. They saw a glow, right, from inside the church. Is the glow still glowing?
So when the sirens stopped and the sky turned to daylight again, the glow went away, but you got close enough that you know that it was much further to the east than the church, probably much deeper in the woods than the church.
Oh, right, it was deeper and further away. Right. And it wasn't the church that was glowing. We just made it there. Okay. All right. Well, he's totally distracted by this headstone because by now, Meryl has spent enough time on Ancestry.com to have thoroughly investigated his lineage and any other monies that maybe have been unclaimed heretofore over the last 10 years or so. And so I'm going to go check out the headstone and brush the snow off of it.
Roll me...
Checking it out.
Yeah, roll me empathy.
Okay. My empathy score is over here, and it's in 2020 a 4. What's the wrong die? I got a 2 and a 1 and a 5 and a 4. Put my glasses on.
Yeah, that's good enough. You just need at least a 4. So you brush off the snow. You get to name a truth about what happens next.
This is an uncle or someone on my dad's side that he didn't tell me about. And it's a good thing they're dead. Maybe it was, maybe it was a sibling or both. Let's say he finds an uncle, but he also finds a sibling that died before him, before he was born, or like within 2 years of his birth, that died. That would explain a lot of their hostility and would explain a lot of their fury over Meryl's existence. over the years. And he has a good long think and a really juicy flashback sequence on one knee looking at this headstone of a lot of the drinking and a lot of the yelling and a lot of the disappearing for weeks at a time, and then the memory of his father when he told him that he didn't want to work in the grocery business, told him to come look at the new pool, and it didn't have any water in it. And when Merrill doubled down on it and said he didn't want to work for the grocery store and bag groceries for free and work his way up, his father shoved him in the pool, and he falls into this empty pool, and we cut to black, and he's back in the cemetery, and he didn't know Benjamin Gross. You know, he didn't know that Benjamin Gross existed in the family paperwork and all the litigation and probate and all the bullshit that happened after his parents died and getting the money. There was no mention of a younger sibling. So he has a reckoning moment about why his parents might have been so nasty, and is thoroughly distracted with his back to the church for a big fat minute, having his flashback.
What I'll add to this is that there's an inscription beneath the name and the dates of death. The date of death of beneath the date of death is the phrase that you can imagine came from your parents, or at least they had somebody come up with something, and it just says, "We will always be proud of you," beneath your brother's name.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't fuck with Merrill's anger and self-loathing in the least, he said sarcastically. You know, what, he made it to maybe like, I don't know, like 12 or 16, 12 or 14 or something, like long enough to be proud of somebody, right? In their youth.
Yeah, like high school aged.
Yeah. And then like scrubbed him, but will always be proud of him. Like, why hide him from me? And this is the anger coming home that he didn't expect to have. He thought this was going to be like a really delicious, let's go home and maybe fuck a couple things up and have a few beers and have my kind of catharsis and then blow town. But I think he gets that. He gets the rage, This hits right to the juicy center of his anger, which is this love that was never provided in the least. And then when some sort of olive branch was accepted, always on their terms, he lost his eye. And so yeah, he's having a quiet rage episode in the snow at this headstone.
Let's bring in Jacob at the front of the church. So Josh, you split up with Merrill, and he goes around this long way. He disappears from your view. Jacob's on his own. And as you approach the church, the rest of the children, you're not children, the rest of the family, gone for the moment. What is one thing that is true for Jacob in this scene?
As he approaches, is entirely alone for a moment. And he remembers being in the woods before, and he is thinking to himself about everything that's going on it's all the ridiculous little things that are sticking in his head. It's things like how he snuck out of his dad's house and had to make his way through the woods to the high street, and in the night how he used to come out here, and him and Staley would go for walks or do dumb stuff. How he always used to feel like you could lose yourself in the woods, and now he really feels lost, and he doesn't like it anymore. And all he wants to do is get his friends, and honestly, he's not even sure if all of them are his friends, but he wants to just get those that he grew up with, those who he thinks of as family, out of here. And he is shaking profusely. And it's not because it's snowing, it is just because, like, I think deep down, he's written off a lot of his childhood memories as childhood memories, as things that were too strange, too bizarre, too intense, too unexplainable. Over the years, he's disregarded them, and now he's back, and this place is as visceral as ever. And I think he's kind of reached that point now where he's very much going to come down one side of the fence or the other, and that is he's either going to just run and just leave everyone, or he's going to do something really, really, really stupid and try and save his friends. And he's like having that argument with himself, standing in front. So he doesn't realize at first that Meryl's been gone a while. He's just standing there with this oversized hand cannon in his hand. He's like rattling in his grip, and finally he takes a moment and just hello? Calls out to see if anyone's in the church.
You can hear the creaking of the floorboards in this little porch, and the creaking of the awning over your head with the wind pushing up against it, howling. You can feel like the unsteadiness beneath your feet, these old floorboards. You call out, and a moment later you hear a click, 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 as the locks on the door open one at a time, and the door slowly creaks open. You're standing there on the porch. I need you to roll me a desperate empathy check, Josh.
Okay. That's all
You
good.
do have 2 bonus dice still remaining.
I think I might use them, Don. I'm going to save one. I'm definitely using one, though. Okay. Empathy is... Okay. Not too bad. 1, 2, 3... Okay. Come on. Lucky. 2. Boom. That is a pair of 4s, Don.
Oh, now what's your empathy rating?
With an extra dice. I forgot my extra dice. 5.
Okay.
Oh, blessed.
Okay.
Blessed is the day. Okay.
So the door creaks open, and you have control. What is true?
The door starts to creak open. But as it takes some time to open, it's like all these things are happening. I think Staley and Jay and Wren arrive at this particular moment with Meryl round the back, and this is everything is all going to come together. You can tell us who or what is on the inside, but they kind of come up behind Jacob, and he doesn't like realize that they're there, but like they're coming out of the woods just behind him as this happens.
Jacob, where's Meryl?
He looks around for a moment, seeing you, and doesn't try and hide the fact that he's still got the gun in his hand, but he will only sort of like half turn his back towards the church.
Is everything okay, Jacob?
He does a head count and realizes that one of you is missing, and he sort of like looks back towards the church a little. He doesn't say anything, he just will raise the gun so it'd be pointing towards the porch, not actually at the door, towards the porch. Like that can't quite bring himself to raise it.
Jacob, what are you doing?
We'll say that this is the moment, like as you're all back together and you're approaching Jacob and you see him there holding the gun, pointing at the porch, not at the door. The door swings open the rest of the way, and standing in the door with some lights on behind, that look like maybe the glow of like natural gas, like lamps from inside the church, is an old man with scraggly hair, just barely. Most of it's gone all the way back half up his scalp, so it's just long hair on the sides, bald in the front. He's wearing a checkered, dirty-looking overcoat and long, baggy kind of sweatpants. And he's got not a full beard, but it doesn't look like he's shaved in a few days. And his face is just kind of drawn downward and tired looking. And he looks out to you on the porch, to Jacob. He sees the gun in your hand, and he says, you can take whatever you want. Please don't hurt me.
I will turn to Wren. Is that who took Gigi?
Dawn, does he bear any resemblance to that clown?
No, but Naomi, who's right with you, Wren, who's kind of keeping a close eye on you, does call over, says, Robert, they're new to the island. They just got here. Will you let us in? And she looks to you, Staley, and she says, this is the clown. He used to be.
I look at Naomi and I look back at Wren.
Wren's just shaking her head. That's not him. That's not who dragged Gigi away.
What do you mean someone dragged Gigi away?
We need to get into that church.
Jacob, where's Meryl?
Yeah, where's Meryl?
He went around the back, and I'm gonna push.
And why do you have a gun? Where did you get a gun?
I'm going to push in and I literally, with the muzzle of the gun, push this old man out of my way, marching towards wherever the back or side entrance is to look for Meryl.
Yeah, and when you push through him, like he falls backwards and kind of knocks over a table on the inside. And you can kind of hear him groaning in pain a little bit as he tries to stand up. But he doesn't really fight you. He tries to get out of the way. He's just not fast enough. And inside, Jacob, all of the church pews, the old wooden pews, have been removed from the church, maybe repurposed. There's several tables that look like makeshift, like somebody crafted these tables pretty shoddily. A bookshelf with just a few books on it. The altar is still there on the far end of the church, and the stained glass windows are still there and dusty. Some lamps and lanterns on the tables providing the dim light, and there is a side door that is also locked, the back left side of the church.
I just call out angrily, Meryl! Meryl, where the fuck are you?
Do you go to the back, or are you staying in the church?
I look around. I'm expecting him to have sort of like got in without like thinking that, you know, the doors were locked and everything like that. He's just expecting to see Meryl, but if he doesn't see him, he's gonna like march over to the other the way in and out, the other door, and try and sort of like see if he can get it open.
Okay. What about Jay and Staley, everyone else?
I would have followed him inside.
Jay would try to help Robert up. And say, I apologize for Jacob. I'd give an excuse, but I don't know what's going on with him.
He grips onto you pretty hard until he's back on his feet, and he gives you a pat on the shoulder and thank you. It's all right. He kind of looks away from you and over your friends as you're all entering, particularly at Staley as she crosses by to catch up with Jacob. He says, "You're the kids from Seawall, ain't ya?"
Yes, that's where we all lived once. What happened here?
He looks like he's about to say something, and then Naomi enters the church. She closes the door behind her and immediately locks it again from the inside. And she doesn't set her shotgun down on the table, but she kind of lowers it to her side and moves into the center of the church, stopping next to you, Jay. Just about the time that you asked that question, she says, "We should get everyone together and sit down. I'll tell you what we know, which isn't enough. And maybe you can tell us what you know, too. Okay?"
I'll see what we can do, but I don't know if it's anything.
Where's Meryl?
He went around the back. I don't see him.
Is there like a back of the church? Like you said that there were like stained glass windows back there. Can I?
There's stained glass windows in the back of the church, and then there's another door near the back on the side.
Can I go back there? And if I can't see out the stained glass window, I want to open the door and see if Meryl's back there.
It's really hard. You could try to like find part of the warped stained glass, which if you did, Jacob might remember that he once looked through that same little portal that's a little less distorted. Or you could go outside through the back door. Which one do you want to do?
If the stained glass looks too hard, she'll just go to the door.
You have to unlock it from the inside and then open it up to go outside to look. Roll me a desperate smarts.
Okay. Do I still have all 5 dice right now?
Yeah, we have it. Oh,
Oh,
did it go down? Oh no. You're minus 1 dice. We just clicked over.
No. Okay. So 4 then.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5, 2, 4, 1.
You rolled a 5. So you open the door to head outside to look for Meryl, and you have narrative control. What happens? What happens next?
I open the door, and just outside of it, in like not far away at all, is the graveyard. Like they often have like around the sides or backs of churches, and there's Meryl sitting on the ground in the snow. I don't know what he's doing, but he doesn't look. He doesn't look like he's doing anything.
He's taking a knee and looking at a headstone, and he's got his rifle butt down in the snow, and he's holding onto it, and he's got his back to you.
I would walk out of the church and walk towards Meryl, but I don't want to scare him, so I would, like lightly touch his back as I say his name, as I'm like, Meryl. Why do you have a gun, Meryl? What are you doing out here?
Just looking around, there's a lot of family out here.
Well, yeah, your family's all over this island.
Why do I have a gun? We shot a bear. Bear ran up to the car.
And you just had a rifle with you? You just walk around with it?
Well, I don't just walk around with it, but it's in the car. Yeah. It's complicated. It's this is kind of a collector's item, actually. This is the 350, not the 275. There's a whole thing. You gotta keep it. It's insured and everything. But no. Is everybody here? What the fuck's going on? And he's like not looking at you, and he's like, I've got something in my eye, kind of a thing. Is everybody here?
No. You need to get inside. Meryl, Gigi's missing. If I explain what happened, you're not going to believe me.
What do you mean missing? She walked you up here.
We were trying to get into the church. Her dad was there. No one was answering the door, and we were knocking. We were looking for keys. We were doing everything we could.
All right. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. We were going to go to lunch. I thought we were going to go to Denny's or something. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Let's start walking.
But Meryl, listen. You're not going to believe this part, but I saw Gigi, and she got dragged away by a man that was dressed like a clown. And that sounds crazy, and I feel crazy saying it.
No, it's not crazy. Got dragged off by a clown.
No, it's incredibly crazy.
I was eating lunch in a parking lot one time and saw a girl eat a cockroach sandwich for tickets to like a concert or something.
Meryl, focus. That doesn't have anything to do with this.
It had mayonnaise on it. Well, no, I'm just saying, like, people do weird shit all the time. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Okay, so where did Gigi? Where was she taken? Like, she was taken at what location?
Into the church.
She was taken into the church.
Yeah.
This church.
That church.
I lift the rifle and like rack the shit out of it. Like throw the butt back. Like, all right, get behind me.
You didn't have to tell her that. She was like already on her way behind you.
Now, I want to be clear about something. Meryl, by his body language, does not have any formal military training. Okay, but Meryl demonstrates as he walks the perimeter and well, just like you can tell that he's no longer fucking around, and is about to take this building. And it's not like the SEAL Team 6 drop your shoulders and storm it. It's the more like, I've seen too many movies and I don't give a fuck, and starts walking right toward the building with this rifle out in front of him. And is the window open?
I came out
the side door is open.
I start walking toward the side door, but I'm still talking to you. Where in the church were you when she was taken? Front, back, side, what?
We were at the front door. Her dad ran off into the woods. We haven't seen him. I ran into Naomi. Do you remember Naomi from the fire department?
Vaguely.
She has a gun too. Just like yours. What do you call that?
She has a gun.
Like a shotgun? Is that what that is, Meryl? Is it a shotgun?
Okay. So she's got a shotgun. Okay. Yes. Well, is this a shotgun? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was taken by the clown. Naomi's not a clown. Clown took Gigi into church from the front. And so we're like having, and Meryl's having trouble like coming to grips with this, and he just wants to walk to the front. Like, you got to walk this front to back. Like, I'm just gonna go back up to like the landing and like take the building and come in behind you guys and look at everything. And not in like a military, like take the building kind of a way, but just, like I'm coming in and I'm going to kick somebody's ass fashion.
And Wren, do you follow him back around the side of the building, or do you go in and unlock it from the inside for him?
No, I don't let go of Meryl.
Okay. On the inside of the building, as they're having this conversation, they're coming around the front. What's everybody else doing? Jacob, Jay, what are you doing?
Jacob walks on over to Jay and will, like, as you know, he'll walk on over towards Staley, and he like, with zero regard of like safety, he like tucks the revolver into sort of like his pants, and then Staley, do you still smoke?
Of course I do. And as I say that, I'm like pulling my pack with my my lighter out, and I hold it open and offer him one and take one myself and light mine and light his if he takes one.
Yeah. And he kind of gives a sideways glance to this clown individual, and kind of writes him off pretty quickly, is just sort of like looking at the state of this man. And then, he kind of is just impatiently waiting for Meryl to get in here so we can find out what is going on.
Jacob, he doesn't look like your dad, but he kind of smells like your dad when he had been on a bender for a few days. Like he just reeks of alcohol, and he seems nice enough, but he's kind of out of it. He goes and sits down, and he grabs it's in a bottle, but it's unmarked. It smells obviously like alcohol, but not good. You kind of get the sense that this might have been something that he's made himself. And he's just kind of watching and drinking as Naomi goes about kind of packing up some gear and unpacking some food. And then there's the knock or the rap of the door as Meryl tries to come in through the front. She spins her head around and she kind of goes for her gun, looking warily towards the locked door.
Meryl?
Do like the shave and the haircut if it's locked. Like, and look at Wren holding my shirt. And then back to what I'm doing.
Meryl?
So,
Do I hear him?
Yeah, you can hear him from the other side of the door.
Land shark.
Naomi, it's Meryl.
Naomi.
Trick or treat for UNICEF.
She goes towards the door slowly, looks back at you, Staley, and she says, "He's another one of your friends."
Yeah.
No.
Loosely. But yes, he's with us.
All right. She unlocks the door and opens it up and steps back. And you see Naomi, Meryl, half-dressed, like she's still on the firefighting volunteer team in the jacket, but like she's got dirty clothes on underneath of it. And she, like everybody else here, including Robert, looks just haggard. Just like they haven't had a bath or shower in a long time. Lost weight.
The website says this is where Rotary is. The Rotary meeting. You're at the church tonight. Am I in time? Am I late?
Meryl, shut the fuck up and sit down. Can we all finally figure out what is going on here? Because I am very close to running out of patience. I've nearly been mauled by a bear. Gigi is currently fucking missing, by the way. So thanks for wasting our time. Can we get on with this? Because I need.
Yeah. You're gonna look at Naomi. I'm like, you're gonna have to excuse him. He hasn't had his meds, so he's around a little tight.
She shuts the door and locks it again, and comes over to where everybody's standing while this back and forth is happening.
Okay. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's nice to see everybody. My friend here says that a clown grabbed Gigi and dragged her in here. Now, what are we gonna do about that? Have we swept the place?
Naomi looks over to Robert, who's sitting down drinking from a bottle, and Robert just shakes his head and says, "It wasn't me. I didn't take anybody. Did it happen during the change?"
Change? Does he look like a clown? Is he like actively made up as a clown?
You know, his green kind of checkered like jacket that he wears looks like once upon a time maybe it could have been something that would have been part of his clown costume, and he's got a face for it, but like there's no makeup on it, right? There's no, he's mostly bald.
Okay.
What's the change? Gigi's dad said that too.
Can someone please tell us what is going on here?
Does it have
Naomi
something to do with the lighthouse?
Naomi sets down her shotgun and says, "The change, it happens when you hear that old siren. The lights go dark in the sky. You saw that, right? You all saw that happen?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's the way it's been here on the island. Last 10 years or so. Happens a couple times a day. And everything changes. That's why. Yeah. I don't know how you found us. Nobody's seen any of you in a long, long time. But whatever's going on here, none of us can leave. A lot of people died. We buried them beneath the church here or out there, and The yard. Not many people left now.
Why can't you leave? There's a
Say-
ferry.
I think there might be some sort of curse, or There's a presence here on the island.
A curse?
I don't know when we learned his name. Tak. We all know the name Tak now.
What?
Whoever he is, he won't let us leave. And now that you're here, I suspect he ain't gonna let you leave neither.
Fuck that.
What? A curse?
This tack. This tack is a red mist, right?
Maybe. I think he takes the form of a lot of things. And when it goes dark outside, when you hear that siren, well, that's when he's strongest. That's when it's not safe to be outside.
Okay, hold up. Takes the He, Tak, red mist. I mean, what the fuck?
I write movies and stories about this stuff. No, there's no way it's a curse. We left, and now we're back. Yeah. We could leave again. And everyone could come with us.
Jay is going to... Jay has been quiet this whole time after your talk and then descriptions of things. And he's going to look at everyone. Do you mind if we talk in the back?
Yeah, of course, you can all talk, but listen. What was that thing took your friend? You said a clown, but not Robert here. You said took her into the church, but I don't see her anywhere in here.
What
you
about
remember
under
anything else? If I had to guess, and it's just a guess, if she got took, she ain't here no more. She's probably out there, where that light is. That light in the woods. When we've been out there, when it's light out, when it's normal, it's not the change. And there's a door out there. It's in the floorboards of this old log cabin. By this tree, this old black tree, and then split down the middle.
Struck by lightning.
Yeah.
The crooked tree.
That's the one. Well, that door is where the light comes from. That's where Tak lives.
Fantastic. I'm taking that. And he will walk on over to where the guy's drinking a bottle of homemade alcohol. He's gonna take his tie off, ties his tie around the neck of the bottle, stuff half of it down, looks over Staley and says, "Can I borrow your lighter?"
If you're thinking the same thing I am, absolutely. And she'll hand it over.
And Robert like lets you take the bottle, but he's like, "Are you gonna use that to start a fire, kid?"
I'm not a kid. And I'm not playing these fucking games, okay? I don't care about any change or any curse or haunted fucking stories, any of that bullshit. That's my friend out there. So whoever this tack is, they are going to rue the fucking day, okay? Is anyone coming with me? Because I'm going to go and get Gigi back. Right the fuck now.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hand me that bag that you've got over your shoulder right there? Can I see that for a second?
He tosses it to you without knowing how dangerous that probably is.
We now find out that Meryl has like incendiary bombs or something.
It's just like a nuclear football suitcase with like launch codes. It's just all the guns.
It's the football. Throw me the football. No, the one that you're not supposed to shake, Meryl switched with you, so he's holding that. So catches the bag. And so basically, Meryl's got enough gear on him for 4 men to rob a bank. You've got these are 2 fully ready to go, go bags effectively, and so enough to arm everybody at the very least, enough to feed everybody for 3 to 5 days. And I would like, with the DM at the DM's discretion, I would like to have IFBs for everybody in earpieces, or at least for 4, so we could split up into at least 2 groups and take this cabin. And so Meryl proceeds to unzip 2 duffel bags and bring out, all of a sudden it's lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. He's got his guns wrapped up in like, the satin rolls, so he's like unrolling. He's got at least 12 handguns on him, and just starts, basically passing out small arms to everybody except to Staley and Jay, and then cocks a 22 and like brings it over to Wren. Is like, do you know how to use this?
No.
No? Okay, it's fine. Here we go. Just hold it out in front of you, point it at the ground. When you see something you want to shoot, point it at it, you squeeze. Okay?
Do I have to? Can you just hold it
Bend
in
your
case
elbows. No?
Meryl, I don't want it.
All right, fine. For Christ's sake. Okay. You're here with me. All right, here we go.
Before we go all commando on a tree, can we talk for a moment, please?
About what?
What's up?
Do you remember that night in the lighthouse 10 years ago, where the inside collapsed? Now, normally, at this moment, I would assume that we're having all some sort of shared hallucination, that there's some sort of possible chemical spill going on this island, and that we've all inhaled fumes that are causing us all to hallucinate these things. But Robert and Naomi weren't around the lighthouse 10 years ago. Them describing things that we've seen before. Just me pause. Do you remember what happened that night?
Somewhat.
I only remember, I think I remember Jacob carrying me down the stairs and outside. That's, everything else is fuzzy.
I have never told any of you this, but I thought it was, I don't know, terror, my mind making things up. At the time, I saw a red mist that night. I saw shadows living in the darkness. And that was the night I had the visions of stuff, right? Was I the one that had the visions of the?
You were at the top of the lighthouse, and
Yeah.
you saw what looked like. You're not sure if they were visions or ghosts, but they looked like settlers. They looked like people from 100 years longer ago on the island.
Yeah.
And you eventually joined them in chanting.
Yeah. His mind broke. His was just. I'm trying to remember who, because I remember there being a vision about, of the settlers from a long time ago in a cave and all that. That was Jay, right? If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember the cave, you remember the cannibalism.
Mm-hmm. I had, and I don't know if it was caused by terror or, again, if there's some sort of weird spell going on, but I had weird visions of people who came here a long time ago and this cave by the sea and weird rituals and strange things. And I do remember there being a mention of something about a being caused. Did it cause anger or caused increased aggression?
Hunger. Insatiable
right?
hunger.
Insatiable. And I still would have chalked that up to strange things happening. But this, and he pulls out the book from his pocket. This book was in that lighthouse 10 years ago. I never really got a chance to properly read it. But that strange thing that we met outside Staley in that box, this book that we found.
That book.
This book.
Is it the Desiderata or the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita or like what's the big deal with the book?
I don't know.
Wait.
I was thinking about opening it.
You said you read it.
I didn't really get a chance to read it.
He was reading it.
Hold on. So you're telling me whatever this thing is, put the book specifically in a place for you to find it again. And you think it's a smart idea to open it and read it? Are you crazy?
Jay, you were reading a book when we got up there.
I almost died for you in that stupid book. I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to do this again.
So we burn it.
I didn't come back here to save you.
This could have
this book
information
again.
that we need to deal with whatever this is. You can't deal with an enemy that you don't know.
My
What if
God,
it
give me
doesn't?
the book. Good Lord, just hand it to me, for Christ's sake. Look, I'm just gonna sit here. I speed read all the time. You know, just give it. I don't. Nobody reads anymore. I skim.
That's not
Just
the
hand it to
point,
me.
Meryl.
No, we're not reading the book. Last time anyone even had the book, which,
Lord.
more importantly, where the fuck did you get it from? But at the same time, last time you had that book, the lighthouse collapsed, and everyone here, and some people not here, including Gigi, which might I remind you, she is still out there.
I
Everyone
haven't
will
forgotten
be
that, Jacob. But us going out and trying to do things, we don't know what we're up against. We don't know what's going on here. Doing that might
you
just
want
as
us
well
to read
kill
scary
us.
stories? What do you want us to do?
I'm trying to
thing-
figure out what the fuck is happening on this island.
This thing
Denny's
is
is
toying
open.
with us. Can't you see that? The book. Jay was with me when I found it. It was perfectly wrapped like a present. It was in a box with wrapping paper. It was like it's toying with us. If we fall into this trap, we are going to we're all gonna die. It's gonna do
The
what it's doing
shadows
to everybody else.
couldn't touch this book.
What do
Up
you
in
mean
that
shadows couldn't touch? What does that even mean?
There was mist, there were shadows, and where this was, the mist couldn't touch. I am the last person to want to believe any of this weird mumbo-jumbo mythical bullshit. But I've got to believe in something. I've got to at least believe in my own senses, my own fucking memories.
Jay, we were kids.
I'm gonna open this book. You can
Jay?
all go out and fight this thing, but I need to know more so that I can get rid of it.
During this argument, the storm outside has gotten worse. So much so that the old wooden walls of this church are just like shaking. As your emotions, as everything gets more tense inside, the outside, it's getting worse and worse. And you can see Naomi's gone while you're arguing. She's kind of listening to you, and she's gone to the back door and cracked it a little bit just to kind of look out. And she closes it again.
I'm going out there. I'm not waiting around to read books.
It's pretty bad out there, Jacob. We're at least gonna get kitted up before we go out there. I need a couple of minutes. I'm with you, but I need a couple more minutes.
I don't want to argue with anybody because I don't like to do that. But what are we doing? Where are we going?
That's a good question. No, that's a good question. That's the first good question that's really been asked. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk over to the cabin with the light coming out of it. We're going to save Gigi, and then I'm going to blow it to hell.
Yeah.
Because if it's like a hellmouth or some shit with like light coming out of the floorboards, that's not acceptable. And, I got the tools. I got the talent. We can take care of it.
Do we need to
But I think it might have to have...
for the lighthouse to make a sound again? I don't understand what's happening. And you all are arguing about this book, and it was, listen to us. I'm scared.
So am I.
So am I.
Robert,
You're all
is
scared.
kind of like, Robert slowly, like, he's like outside your circle near Jacob, and he says, listen, none of you should have to deal with this island, this hell. But I'll come with you. I'll help. I know where that light is, even when it's not changed. But it's bad out there. Naomi kind of comes over from the door. We gotta help these kids get there before it changes again. You know that thing's got their friend. Their friend ain't got long. She gives a small nod of her head and she looks to the rest of you and she says, we think whatever this monster, this creature is on the island, this Tak, it likes to play with us before it eats us. But he's right. Your friend doesn't have long.
It's what that thing said to us, Jay, in the kitchen. The thing that looked like my father came around the island talking to me, made eye contact with me and said, Tak. Said it a few times before I tried to blow its head off.
Yeah.
So
I'm just
I knew you
gonna
were going
open
to say
this
it.
While
Yeah,
Meryl's
before the
kidding
book
up.
thing, you mean to tell me that you've had that book for 10 years and now
I have
suddenly
not
you got
had
a
this
wild
book.
bear?
Just found it.
Just found
I
it.
found
You
it.
found
In
it
that
today?
lighthouse. Found it
Yeah.
today.
Wrapped
The
up
box.
in a box that looked like a present.
Was it addressed to someone? Was there a tag on it?
No, there were holes poked in it, and the lid lifted off of it. It was wrapped in wrapping paper that looked birthday themed.
That reminds me of that one birthday of Gigi's when Mr. Toothaker gave her the kitten. Do you remember Cullen?
I remember the cat, yeah.
That we
It was
already
wrapped
had.
in a box like that.
So you've been telling me this thing has been following us for 10 years.
No,
And now that we're back on the island, it's going to kill us all?
it hasn't. I mean, has anything weird happened to you since you left this place? Meryl, you're exempt from answering this question. Everyone else.
I was going to say, I mean, yeah. But nothing's been following me for 10 years, I'll tell you that right now. I would know.
It can't
That's
leave.
that weird.
It's stuck here just like us. It hasn't.
Oh,
If anything,
No, I sh-
it's just been waiting for you all to come back.
and of course we came back. Of
Jay
course
is
we
opening the
came
book.
back.
Jay is opening the book and reading it.
Is anybody trying
While
to stop
Meryl's getting
Jay?
kitted up.
I thumb the hammer on the revolver. I take the revolver from my belt. I don't point it at him, but I thumb the hammer on the revolver. I'm not going to aim it at him. I'm going to see what happens.
Does Jay hear you? Do you cock the hammer?
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
the
you cock
loud in the silence click of the Western
Hey, can we?
moment.
You gonna shoot me?
Yeah, like
Jacob?
Staley's gonna like put a hand up.
That'll make two people who shot me here.
Yeah, well, it's okay because you won't fucking tell anyone about it, will you?
Let's all just calm down, okay? I get
It's a
wanting to be
book.
safe. It's just precaution, Jay. If you want to read it, it's fine. But we
You
have
want
to
to be
take
safe,
precaution
and
if
yet you want to
anything
run out
happens.
into outside to fight against something we don't understand. That
Last
sounds
time
real
you were
safe
near
to
this
me.
book, apparently you were getting possessed by it, okay? It's fair if we want to take some precaution. Read. If you want to read it, read it. We're running out of time.
Fine. Jacob, if I get possessed and I start going weird, you have my permission to shoot me.
Jay,
We've got five witnesses here.
Do I have your permission to shoot you?
You also have my permission to shoot me, Meryl.
All
Jay,
right. Does Ray have your permission does Wren have her permission to?
Everyone here can fucking shoot me if I go weird, but I'm opening this
And we'll
book.
just shoot the hell out of you. All right, you guys see his eyes glow red. He starts to gozer out on us. You know what to do. Here we go.
I'm opening the fucking book.
He's got the book. Hit me.
Jay, the untitled book, as you open it, are you like flipping through and trying to get a gist of what it's all about, what kind of information it might have?
Yeah, I'd like to think that in his years as a biomed student, bioengineering student, and then his years as a undergrad and then master's degree, that he's learned how to speed read stuff and like skim stuff to get the general gist of it, and not actually need to finish the reading to do the discussion.
Yeah. So what you recognize immediately is the book seems to have been written by multiple generations of individuals with different handwriting. You can see the evolution over time of language, and the quality of the paper that's bound into this old leather book has changed. The newer pages are slightly less yellow and easier to read, but the book itself contains the history of the founding families of Pretty Marsh Harbor and the generations that followed. Roll me a desperate smarts roll and subtract 1 from your dice pool because of the hour.
I normally have 5. I'm gonna be 4. That's 2 5s.
So you get to name one thing that is true about what you find in this book, and I can expound with some further details.
I think that this book, while it's also like it's a history of founding families and a bit of a genealogy, I think it's sort of mixed in with personal anecdotes and inserts from members of the family throughout time. And I think one of them perhaps details maybe not exactly what Tak is, but perhaps the exact sort of, because there was a ritual that I kind of saw that I didn't really understand. I think it probably perhaps details this ritual and what they had to do to bring this being, this thing, this entity, there we go, this entity here.
You have to, it takes you a little while to kind of piece together that even though the word Tak doesn't appear in the book that you found, that through context clues, they refer to Tak as something else. And the first time one of the settlers, one of the founding family members, a Gross, in fact, mentions this entity, they just write that they met God in the woods, and that God helped them survive their first 12 winters on the island. On the 13th winter, God demanded a sacrifice. And you kind of, the sacrifice part is really hard to understand. You kind of have to refer to later chapters as you're flipping through. But what you find, Jacob, is that the founding families took the children whose parents had died in the previous years for this ritual to God, this sacrifice. And as to what happened to the children afterwards, the only thing that you can find is that the children were said to have been et. Their flesh transformed like the flesh of Christ, and their blood flowed down through God's door and into the mouth of God, and thereafter God was kind. The founding family survived their 13th winter. And flipping through the years, it looks like this pattern was repeated every 13 years.
Jay thinks back on this. Jay thinks about the missing portraits in the orphanage from the years that apparently they didn't take a group photo. How long ago were those photos before 10 years ago?
You search your mind to try to match them up, and it does seem like there was a complete turnover. You know, it's hard to say exactly how many years. Not all the pictures had years written on them, but certainly it seems to fit in your mind.
And what would have been the last one have been about 13 years before?
13 years before your summer 10 years ago, yes.
Jake throws the book down, as apparently they've been sacrificing orphans to this Tak, this god of theirs, every 13 years. Guess who was supposed to be sacrificed 10 years ago?
Who?
Jacob.
Who?
Well, they had 12 thumbs. They all lived at a certain orphanage.
Fuck.
And ever since then, apparently things have been bad here, yeah? 10 years of bad mumbo-dumbo.
Wait. You gotta back up there, big guy. I didn't read the book. So you're telling me that they take somebody every 10 years and they didn't get to take someone
somebody.
10 years?
All the orphans.
They would wipe out the
That's why
orphans
those
every 10 years?
photos are missing. Every 13 years. That's why those photos are missing in the orphanage.
And what, they didn't wipe us out?
Things got bad here.
Because we're not dead?
Yeah.
The god didn't get its sacrifice.
Oh, poor dead god. That's gotta be rough. Turns over to Wren. It's like, it's the damnedest thing. Would you put this in your pocket, please? It's just this dragon thing. Make sure I can keep an eye on you. Just put that right there in your pocket. Then I'll get you like a poncho right here. There's gonna be a lot of rain, so I got a couple of 3 of these. So I should put that on.
Jay's gonna turn to Robert. You've been here a long time. You've been on this island a long time. Do you know about this?
He looks to Naomi and then back to you, and he says, first few years we talked about lots of theories. Those of us lived. It's Doug. Doug, who thought it had something to do with you kids going missing. We didn't know what happened to you. Of course, there were always rumors about what the families were doing, about the things that the Toothaches, the Grosses, all of them.
All of them?
Always rumors about your orphanage, that house you lived in. What happened to the kids? Why we never... There were always rumors.
Listen, if the Gross family made blood sacrifices by the dead of night of local orphans going back generations, I probably would have heard about it. It's very thrilling, and I'm every small town is cursed. You know what I mean? Am I right? Anybody? No? But
how full of bullshit does Meryl sound right now?
Called out.
Jay does not get this angry normally, and Jay is pissed.
I like to think that we make eye contact, and I can tell you're pissed. And I'm just like, what?
Every family has its skeletons.
Meryl?
Yeah, I know about a lot of skeletons, but no, I did not know that the Gross family sacrificed orphans to a dead god.
So
I didn't know.
You brought a small armory here for no reason. Is that why you're here?
To sacrifice orphans to a dead god? No. I was going to blow up the lumber mill.
The fire chief, the old fire chief, kind of stands next to Meryl, kind of comes up, Naomi does, and stands next to Meryl, and she's got her shotgun again, and she says, listen, if what's in that book is true, it might be, now that you're all back, we can stop this entity, this talk, together.
I leveled the gun at her.
And then maybe...
All right, now. Let the lady finish. Right. Goodness.
You gonna shoot me?
Hold on. She was on a roll, Jacob. She was talking about going and getting the thing. We're going to go find the tack guy. I'm going to blow his head off. We're going to get Gigi, and we're going to go to Denny's. What the fuck are you doing with the shotgun? Put the shotgun down, please.
Seems like a lot of people on this island were raising everyone in this room and Gigi like lambs for slaughter.
You can see like some tears welling up in the corner of her eyes, and she looks directly at you, Jacob, and she says, I'm from Portland. I just came here right before this happened. And I know you're all scared, but you have no idea what we've gone through the past 10 years.
You're absolutely
There's a chance
right,
that I can help you stop it.
I imagine you take pretty much any opportunity to get off this island.
I want to get off this island. And I want to send that thing back to hell. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I think this thing ends one way or another tonight.
How can we trust you? I know you were new to the island. I know you're not, old blood of the island. But I can't walk there with you with a gun in your hands at my back if I know that apparently spilling our blood might be the key to undoing this. I'm not ready to give up on my friends, and I'm not ready to give up on Gigi. So you want to help? Take him, find Gigi's dad, get to the docks, and hope that the fog rolls back and that a ferry shows up, or you can get off the island somehow. But I am not walking anywhere. Not with you, not with that gun, and not with anyone else other than these guys.
I don't know why, but I agree with Jacob.
It's scary, right?
I mean, I think it's about us. I just want to be with you guys.
Why don't you stay here, Naomi?
Nods her head. You'll come back for us, though, right?
Yeah.
You won't leave us here?
You'll know tomorrow. I'm sure things will be clear one way or the other. Either this thing's dead or we're dead. Either way, things go back to normal tomorrow.
Win-win.
Yeah. Meanwhile, read your Bible. He zips up his duffel bag and slings a backpack that a moment ago he put a pelican case in, a hard case, and then throws some other random shit in this thing and then zips it up and basically is now in his travel raid kit at this point.
Robert briefly goes over to Staley and just kind of mumbling under his breath, kind of awkwardly. He has something in his hand, Staley. And he says, I know you ain't her, but you remind me. You remind me of my sister. You look a lot like her, how I remember her. I'm sorry all this happened to you, and to her, and to your friends. I don't know why, but I feel compelled to give you this. It was my sister's. You can see as he opens up his hands, he's got like a dinky metal, looks like you buy it for like $5, crucifix necklace in his palm. It's only about that big.
Does it look familiar to me in any way?
Roll me empathy.
Okay. Let's see if I can get fantasy grunts to work. I have 3 in that.
Okay, and you have -1 right now for the hour.
Yeah, I have 4. I rolled 3.
All right. So you have narrative control here as you try to determine if you've ever seen it before.
Oh no. I think she would recognize it, but not be able to place exactly where. It would just look kind of like creepily familiar in some way, shape, or form.
It's deja vu, and you can see it's deja vu for him too as he holds it out to you.
And I'll take it in my hand and just kind of like look at it for a minute and look back to him. I'm sorry it's all happening too. I'll keep it safe.
You just keep your family safe, okay? You just hold on to them.
Yeah. That's all I can do.
Yeah. Just hold on. He kind of starts walking away, mumbling. You can hear, just hold on, and mumble it a few more times. He sits down and takes like a napkin or a handkerchief out of his dirty suit and wipes his head and plants his cheek against his fist and stares off into space as the rest of you are getting ready. Are you all setting out? What's the plan?
Jacob very much will set out, keeping an eye on Naomi, like with a kind of like genuine like paranoid fear. Just making sure that it's just us leaving, that we're not being followed by them for any reason. And it's like a mixture of really calm and really jumpy, but he's gonna like try and lead and hope Merrill is bringing along his small battalion in his bag.
Is anybody doing anything else special to prepare, or are you all heading off together?
I'm not gonna slow down the game with the gory details of what he has on him.
But, how many guns and how much ammo he has?
It's overkill to say the least. I mean, he's got 50 feet of rope, emergency blankets, all kinds of stuff.
Like the slow motion, like zoom in on each of them, like locking and loading.
So the group of you leave the church behind, and it's late afternoon. The wind has slowed down a little bit, and it's no longer snowing, but there's another half foot of snow from the last time you were outside that's gathered. You're pushing through very, very slowly, and the sun's so bright and its reflection off the ice and the snow, the trees, the bark of the trees are frozen, everything is frozen. And as you set off into the eastern woods, we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, it's going to get a little darker, and we'll have a few surprises. Gigi, you are grabbed by multicolored gloves and pulled into a red fog. You see briefly the head of that clown. It doesn't look quite human. It looks more than human somehow. And then as you are pulled into the room, into that red mist, everything goes dark. You feel hands on your arms, on your shoulders, around your waist, pulling at your clothes, tugging at your hair. So many hands. And the darkness whispers to you. It's taunting you. It knows things about your life as an adult since leaving the island. Things that could be construed as sins or secrets. The things that you feel most ashamed of. Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. In the darkness, Gigi, what is one thing that is true about this scene?
In addition to the hands that group and pull at Gigi, to the whispered sins and secrets, she feels a familiar brush against her ankle, and there's a small black cat here with her. And it's Cullen, the kitten she'd been gifted, the former stray, by Mr. Toothaker on that really great birthday that she had not that long ago. At least in her head, as she's now reaching back through time, thinking of all the things that have happened and things that have maybe not happened.
As you kind of focus down at where your feet are, Gigi, the cat there with you, the only thing you can see besides just the outline of your body in the dark. The whispers continue, but they're quieter. And just for a moment, a voice cuts through that you recognize as your father's voice. I'm sorry, Gigi. I'm so sorry. And a moment later, you feel the cold fingernails of all of those hands that are all over you tear away from your skin and the clothes, and you and Cullen are free falling into the dark. It feels like it's going on for minutes or longer. It feels like your stomach's gonna drop out of the bottom of your body. And then you land on something hard. You feel pain shoot up your back. There's a light, red light, flickering a little bit and then solid from outside of this room that you find yourself in. And Gigi, as you kind of adjust your eyes to the dark, you find yourself laying down on a cot of some kind, pretty hard and comfortable, in a small, tiny room with a rusted toilet, a busted up sink, bars that you can see through, and that crimson light is coming from the hall outside of this little cell that you find yourself in.
Gigi begins to call for her dad, afraid. He was the last one she'd heard. He'd been there at the church. He knows about this stuff. And she begins just calling to him as her dad, and then it becomes DB, and then it becomes Douglas Binks, and she extends it as far as she can, including his middle name, just over and over. And she tries, any exit, she'll rattle it. She'll look for a weapon, as she's done before, looking for anything she can turn to her advantage, but she's panicking.
Roll me a smarts roll.
Ooh, okay,
With the hour, you have -2 to your smarts right now.
I get to roll 1 dice. I rolled a 1.
The room that you're in, from what you can see with the glow of the red light from the hall beyond, the jail cell is barren of anything that looks like you could use it as a weapon. There's just the sink, ceramic or metal sink, the metal rusted toilet. There's not even any water in the bottom of the toilet. But the truth that I'll add is that after you call out, you can hear your voice echoing down the hall. You hear somewhere far away cries of other individuals, maybe in prison as well. Can't make out what they're saying. But there's a face in the cell across the hall from yours that comes up to the edge of the bars, just caught in that crimson glow from the hallway. And even though years have passed, you recognize the face of your mother. What does your mother look like, Gigi?
Gigi's mother is a tall and slender woman with long, curled hair. But it's the kind of curls that, if they were well maintained, would be tight spirals. But here they're kind of stretched out and matted. She has a face very similar to Gigi's in its features: small nose, slight chin. And she's wearing the red, I feel well done, she's wearing the red sweater that Gigi remembers seeing her mother in the last time she saw her mother.
And she has that same sweater on. She doesn't look any older. She looks tired. She looks like maybe even in pain, grimacing. But it's not just the sweater, Gigi. She looks exactly like you remember your mother. Just unclean. As she comes into your view and she's staring at you and you're staring at her, she raises a finger. Shh. And then she steps back away from the bars, and about a foot back into her cell, the glow from the hallway outside no longer illuminates her. She's there, and then she's gone.
Mom? Gigi's whispering it as quietly as she dares, nervously looking down that corridor towards the light, looking along the row, maybe there are other faces here, other people she knows. And she tries to summon back her mother.
When you call out Mom, again, you look down the hall, you don't see anything immediately, but you begin to hear what sounds like something hard clinking up against metal bars further down the hall to your right. Just rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, a break. A little louder, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, a break. A little louder again. That sound like something brushing up against the cells, coming closer.
She draws back away towards the back wall, the rusting toilet, and under her breath she begins to call to her friends. She calls to Birdie, to Staley, to Jacob. Each one in turn. She's afraid that everyone is down here trapped. And she's afraid of whatever that is that's coming.
And you hear it again. This time, maybe just a cell or two down the hall from you. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And that red light outside flickers. You can hear footsteps too. Heavy footsteps against the stone, against the concrete outside your room, your cell. Gigi, I need you to roll me a desperate, cool roll.
Alright, I am on 4 cool, so I will be down to just 2 for this roll. I'm going to use
one extra
that
die.
extra die that was very kindly donated. Thank you, fam. I'll update the overlay in a minute. I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 3. Ain't keep my cool, fam.
There's a long pause, and you think maybe they're gone. And then the light goes out for 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. It comes back on. And standing outside your cell is a man, something more than a man, with broad shoulders, green, curly hair, far too large for his head. Half of his face still has smears of poorly, crudely painted clown makeup on. The other half of his face looks rotted. Long dead, perhaps. He's staring directly into your cell, at you. Not with eyes, because he has none. They're just empty sockets. And he draws long, long fingers across the bar. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. He leans close. Gigi, you have to subtract 1 from your cool for the rest of the session.
I sure did.
He pushes his face against the bars of your cell, smiling. Always smiling. What's Gigi's reaction?
Gigi has that sleep paralysis nightmare reaction where every part of her wants to move, but all of her limbs feel like lead. They just don't go. And she has that icy hot feeling when all your blood is rushing to your head and you're panicking and you can't breathe. But externally, she's just stock still, eyes wide in terror. The only slight giveaway is a flex of her fingers as they tremble. She can't take her eyes off of this horror in front of her. She can't move. She can't escape.
It seems like he's pushing his face so hard into the cell that he might hurt himself. or somehow push through. And he snaps back, runs his fingers along your cell one more time, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, turns and continues to walk further down the hall. When he's gone, Gigi, you can see trembling on the cell on the other side is your mother, just as before. She's not crying, but terrified.
Mommy? And Gigi's legs give out, and she wants to try and reach for her mother, although I imagine the corridor is just kind of too wide for it to ever be possible, but she'll push her arm as far as she can, shoulder hurting, as she tries to make a connection with someone who isn't that terrifying thing.
You're stretching as far through the bars as you can. She looks to your hand and looks up to you. And she says, "Oh dear. I prayed I'd never see you here. Not down here, Gigi."
Mommy, where are we? Where's here?
And you can feel now that you're adjusted a little bit, that it's like there's a furnace. It's like the closer you get to that hall, the more hot air is hitting you in the face, and as you reach across, you can really feel it. You're starting to sweat. You can see that your mom is sweating too. It's a little hot for heaven, don't you think, Gigi?
I had to come back. I don't know why. I had to, and everyone had to be here. No, here. I didn't. Why? Where's Birdie?
I know. I don't know, dear. I know why I'm here. What did you do, Gigi? What did you do?
What do you mean? What did I do?
What did you do to deserve to be down here with the rest of us?
You mean, did I do something bad?
Yeah.
I don't know. And she is genuinely trying to think, what did I do to deserve to be here? And she goes back to a night when it was really stormy, and she let Miss Toothacher go because she was more worried about checking on her friends. And the guilt of that moment is not so much that she let Miss Toothacher go, it's how many times she'd avoided calling Miss Toothacher Mom, and how many times she'd seen the disappointment or the hurt, and she'd still tried to refuse and tried to avoid it.
The warden's gonna ask you the same question. Sweetie, he'll know if you're lying.
I don't know. I yelled at Dad at the funeral. I yelled at Jacob. There was the boy who fell in the harbor. But I don't think I did anything. I went in the church, and then I was here.
Well, maybe it's just a mistake then. You don't belong here. Not like us.
What did you do, Mom? Why are you here, Mom?
I'm here because I fell in love with a man who didn't deserve it. He deserved something else. And that's what he got. And this is what I get.
What happened? And she's now aware that there's that feeling of they're on a timeline, right? Someone's due, the warden, or that person could be back, and she's checking now in her peripherals up and down the dark space. And she's kind of let go of the reach a little bit, and her hand is kind of just limply hanging, not yet brought back into the cell.
When you glance down the hall a little bit, you do see the glow, the far end where the figure had walked towards. That light goes out just for a section, and then another section goes out a little bit closer, pretty far down the hall. Your mother grabs onto the bars of her cell, and she says, I got all the time to reckon with what I've done. But you, Gigi, if you don't deserve to be here, if it's a mistake, well, the warden will let you go. You just have to promise to give him what he wants, and he'll let you go. Them's the rules.
What does he want, Mom? What does the warden want?
I don't know. I'm not here by mistake.
He's coming, isn't he?
Yeah. He's always coming, girl.
Hide, Mom, hide!
She starts to slowly step back away from the bars.
And
you see her mouth
stumbles as well, backwards.
Right before the two of you break that sort of glow, that red glow from the hallway, you can see her mouthing some words. Roll me smarts.
All right, 1 dice. Is this desperate, Don?
Not this time.
Okay, just so I know. 4.
4 is good enough. You get to name one truth as you're watching her mouth, trying to see what she's saying, what she's mouthing before she disappears into the dark.
Ooh. I think she says something or mouths something that doesn't make immediate sense to Gigi, but means something. If you could please provide a detail, Don.
Yeah. She, like, it takes you a moment to kind of parse through what she might be mouthing or whispering. But somehow it plays back in your mind afterwards and you piece it together. Feast on flesh and be saved from sin. She mouths it twice, and then, right before she disappears into the dark, I love you. And then she's gone. You hear rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. And you see the silhouette of the Warden reappear. He turns towards your cell. A little bit more of his makeup has smeared and melted away in the heat, revealing more decayed flesh underneath. And he looks into the dark directly at you.
It's a mistake. I'm not meant to be here. Please.
He slowly pushes his face up against your bars, splitting his skin a little bit as he pushes so hard into the bars. And you can hear him whisper into the darkness of your cell. What will you give to be free?
What does it cost?
What will you give to be free?
And Gigi's replaying what her mother told her, and she can't figure out how to use that. And she looks at herself and at this disgusting man, and I don't have anything to give.
Then you'll have to bring something back, Gigi.
I own the lighthouse. Do you want the lighthouse? Is that why I'm here?
You hear rat-tat-tat-tat-tat as he draws his long fingers across the bars. You'll have to bring someone back, Gigi.
Someone guilty?
The Warden doesn't answer.
How long?
Doesn't answer. You get the feeling that you don't have long.
You gotta let me out if you want me to bring someone.
The Warden stretches his arm through the bars, pushes it through the bars. It seems to get longer as it comes into the room, closer to you and closer to you. And he puts up his hand and raises a pinky and says, "Promise."
And she thinks for a second and then raises her own pinky. And she'll wrap it around his. The last pinky promise she'd ever made was to Birdie. And her mind is just holding on to that because that was a happy memory and this is a very bad time. And she's just thinking about Birdie and trying to stay calm.
You think about Birdie, trying to stay calm. His pinky doesn't feel right. It's wet and kind of sticky, kind of like that doll from your birthday. It's what it feels like. It's kind of what it smells like. You're thinking about Birdie. I need you to roll me a desperate empathy.
Alright, I get 1 dice. It's a 5! Haha! Think
What is
happy
one
thoughts,
thing
everybody.
that is true? You get to name a truth here.
One thing that is true. As Gigi is making this promise and the warden's attention is on her, someone else is taking advantage of the situation of the doorway that is about to open for Gigi, and that person is about to escape.
The warden lets go of your pinky, and a bright, blinding, hot light fills the entire cell, the hall outside. You can see just for a moment your cell door swing open right before this light shoots down the hall like a beam. It's the opposite of darkness. It's so bright you can't see anything. You can't see the warden. But you do see just for a moment that the cell across from your cell's door is also open. And then nothing. You get to throw the spotlight to one of the other players.
I think as Gigi feels a small smile tug at the corner of her mouth and she's holding on to that happy thought, we pan to Birdie. And I will throw the spotlight to Lydia.
Lydia. So you have the spotlight. You have the ability to either share a memory from your adult life since you've been gone from the island, or Birdie's thoughts or feelings. And we're going to pick up the scene. We're going to say after you have all traveled through the woods and you're almost to the old crooked tree. You all know where it is. In your youth, it's where you used to go to hang out during the day. It's where teenagers would dare each other to do things. It's a well-known place, or at least it used to be. And as you're all traveling together, what's Wren thinking about or feeling?
Wren is thinking that she is concerned that she is not more scared than she is. She actually feels pretty calm. I do think that she is following Meryl very closely. I don't know why she thinks that Meryl's going to be like her human shield or something, but that's where she's planted herself. But she's going towards this tree with, you know, her childhood, like, friends and family to save her best friend, her sister, who got drug away from a clown. And I think the ridiculousness of the situation is just like descending upon her because she left the island and she's lived this like incredibly boring, normal life. Like, she went to college, she's a teacher, she reads books, she volunteers, like, she is boring. And now here she is traipsing through the woods in the snow with guns and gear to what? Attack some mist?
As you're reconciling with all of that, finally, you, along with the rest of your family, except for Gigi, reach the northeastern woods. The Crooked Tree, a monstrously large dead oak tree that's been struck by lightning several times. Its trunk is split down the middle, and hanging from a gnarled branch is an old tire swing that overlooks a small stream that runs through the area. Beyond the Crooked Tree is an old log cabin with a caved-in roof. The door swings open and shut in the wind, every few seconds banging loudly against the frame. It looks a lot like the last time you saw it, maybe a little bit more in disrepair now than it was before. But Wren, you notice as you step through with the rest of your friends to the area that the snow seems to have thawed, to be gone, to have melted here in this area. You can actually see the water moving in the stream. It's not ice. There's no snow on top of the old log cabin, and you can even see scorched, black, charred dirt on the ground instead of several feet of snow. The closer you get, the warmer it feels. Pretty Marsh Harbor has many secrets, some of them big, some of them small, a few of them terrifying. Lydia, what else is true about this scene?
There's lights on inside the cabin, and the door's open.
Yeah. And you can see, the truth that I'll add is that even though part of the roof is collapsed, there are lights on inside the cabin. It looks like more lantern lights. And you can just make out as the door kind of opens and swings shut and then opens back up and swings shut with the wind. There's a table and chairs inside too. You're all together.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I would mention to everyone, do you feel warmer? Is it just me?
No, it's actually a little, yeah, it's warm.
It's just adrenaline.
But there's no snow.
You got the heat on. You got one of those industrial tanks. Get the, super propane, whatever. Just go right in and try not to shoot anything, because Gigi's probably in there. And
Yeah. Hopefully.
Gigi?
all right. She may have captors or whatever. Let's just keep her voice down. Jacob, you're with me. Let's take the point. Here we go. I'm going to take that hill. I'm just going to abandon everybody and just start walking toward the front door.
Move ahead.
And
I
just
will
move ahead.
start walking up as well.
Anybody else crossing with them, or the other three of you hanging a little bit further back?
I would press forward.
Yeah,
I would keep
I'm not.
going.
Yeah, I'm not leaving behind Meryl.
Okay.
I
After
like another
a moment's hesitation, Jay would cross over, I guess.
I light another cigarette and take the bottle that I've made into a Molotov in one hand and the gun in the other hand, and we'll just walk on.
Meryl, go ahead and roll me a regular smarts roll. So you have to cross over the little stream and by the crooked tree to go to the front door. You have minus
What's my,
2 right now.
-2. Okay. Oh no, kick me out. Oh, no,
You
I
do have
can't.
some extra dice as well, but this is a regular roll, not a desperate roll.
It's freaking out on me. Hey, done. Roll. I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna spend any.
Not going to spend any more.
Roll 2. I'm not. I'm gonna hold on to them. So if you could roll 2, that
You want me to 2d6?
That'd be amazing. 'Cause I'm not here on the thing.
You got a 5 and a 6. So you get to introduce one narrative element as you're crossing to the door. One truth.
I mean, he gets up there like a champ. He and Jacob get up to the front door. They nod at each other, and Meryl moves in and proceeds to sweep the place. And they do this without obstruction. Is the truth that I would introduce? Is
Okay.
it's Metal Gear for 4 minutes.
It's a small log cabin, and you see on the inside the trap door, the one that the kids used to say, you don't ever open that up. You don't ever go down there. You see the small, and it's a single room log cabin with little basic kitchen setup. Pretty barren, but the parts of it that still exist could possibly be serviceable. And there is a table with 6 chairs, a long rectangular table in this room. Chairs are there, the table's set with dishes and silverware. Set out, napkins folded. Not dirty, not frozen, not dusty. It looks like it was set recently. You don't see any people here.
Can I add something to this?
Sure.
It's just because it's something I remember. There's this trap door, and as Jacob walks past it, he looks down, and there was a rite of passage. And the rite of passage was you had to spend the night here. If you were cool, if you were one of the kids, and people were afraid to, and Jacob looks down, and everyone's name is on there except Meryl's, because Meryl was the new kid, and we never went with Meryl. But he looks down and realizes, you can tell by the weathering that there are groups, and the last group that came over and carved their names in was over 10 years before we all decided to come down here. And he just looks at that and just feels sick to his stomach looking at that.
It's 13 years. Outside, as the two of you are sweeping the inside, you find the names of most of your family on the door and people before. Wren, just outside the doors they're in, searching the place, you find your eyes drawn to the stream, and you remember something. There's another weird thing about this place, maybe a trick of light, how the sun never seemed to quite come through the canopy here enough. But when you look into the stream, you can't see a reflection in the water.
Okay. I can't see my reflection in the water, or any reflection.
Just yours. You could try to look harder. See if you could see it.
I can pick up and like drop in there.
Absolutely. You kind of drop it in the water, and there's a little bit of a ripple, like what you would expect. You're looking down. You still don't see your face, though.
Yeah.
But you do see a gradual change in color. Less blue, more red, maybe a little thicker, starting to run down from where the stream starts to where it ends. It's changing color, Wren.
I think Wren's eyes go wide, and she backs away from it and tries to get near everyone, tries to bump into someone and get their attention and have whoever I bump into, probably Meryl, because he's been my human shield, and just try to get him to look at the river. Like, I think Wren does the thing where she gets too scared to talk, so she just kind of has to get somebody's attention, like, and point at it.
By parking.
And as she points it out, Jay, Staley, everyone, you would see what she's talking about. It looks like the river's running red. It looks like the color of blood. It's what immediately comes to mind.
We're not all hallucinating this, right? Like, you all see that too? Yeah?
Yep.
When I first looked at it, it was clear, and I couldn't see my reflection in it. That's gotta mean something, right?
I don't know what anything means anymore, to be really honest, but that sure as hell is not supposed to be that way.
I don't
Staley,
think any of this is supposed to be that way.
you're sort of wigging out, and you're pointing towards the stream. The stream's actually rising now. It's almost like it's threatening to flood. And you see rise from that water a shape. Long hair coming up out of the water, drenched in blood from head to toe. Gigi, you emerge from that light through some sort of thick liquid outside. Staley,
I can't be the only person that sees this.
Staley, make me a desperate cool roll
Oh, okay.
for
Cool.
wigging out.
Yeah, she's super wigging out. So question, if I have 2 dice in my pool for cool usually, do I roll 1 or do I have nothing?
You can never roll less than 1.
Okay, then I am rolling 1, but I'm going to add my extra that I have. Thank you to
Okay.
whoever gave that to me.
So
So
you
it'll
have to
be
roll
2d6.
And the lights have gone out, so the next failed roll is bad news. You get to name something that's true as you see the shape rise from the stream. You have narrative control.
As this shape rises from the stream, and Staley calls out saying, "Hey, I can't be the only person that sees this," everybody else turns and at the same time has the realization that it is Gigi. And everyone who is in that vicinity is looking at Gigi rise from this bloody stream.
Gigi, it feels like it's just been a few long seconds of you in that burning light, and your eyes are readjusting. You have to blink through the liquid, blink through it stinging your eyes. But you see, like, you are covered, your clothes are covered in what seems like blood. You're standing in the stream. There's the crooked tree still split down the middle. And there's your family. There's Staley. There's Wren.
she rushes forward towards Staley, who I imagine is the closest, and she's kind of a blubbering message. She's trying to explain things far quicker than her mouth can really turn it into words.
And Staley just goes to, like, bear hug her, liquid and all, and like tries to like pull her out of the stream.
And Gigi is kind of being pulled with you, but she's also trying to push you off of her because she's trying to explain to you that you've got to run. Run is the first word that fully forms.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, what?
Run? You gotta run.
What's going on, Gigi?
We
just came out of the stream.
I know.
There's a gunshot that splits the air from the tree line nearby, followed by another and another.
Run.
I turn towards it and try to sign it up.
I imagine.
Where are you
Gigi...
positioned?
Good.
Yeah, let's see where Travis is first. Okay.
Up by the house, because I didn't go getting all close to bloody Gigi. I let everybody else do that, so I'm like up near the deck.
You can roll me. You're trying to find where it came from.
Yeah, and hopefully from cover, depending on where it's coming from, try and get an eye on.
So this is where we do like our version of initiative, right? So like you'll get to do this. I'll have you make a roll, and then we'll move on to somebody else in this moment because everything that happens next happens very quickly. Give me a desperate smarts roll. You do have 2 or 3 dice left, I think, in your pool.
Yeah, I want
extra dice.
Yeah, I want to spend an extra die there. So
okay,
it's still connecting over
The
here.
other thing to note for chat really quick is every time we pass the roll, it's going to get even worse for us when we eventually fail. That's one of the great caveat rules of this.
It's bad. It's going to be bad. I have a 4 smarts. It takes me down to 2, but I'm going to add 1, so it's 3. And it's trying to connect on, so I need you to roll 3 dice for me. You champion.
Okay, I gotcha.
You champion.
And this is, it's about to go down to -3 in 1 minute.
Oh, God.
You got in just in time.
You're a legend, John. John.
I rolled a 5, a 6, and a 5. So I rolled a 5, a 6, and a 5. So you do get to get to tell me where one truth. It can be like where the guns are coming from, etc.
John, can you just roll everyone's dice?
Do you want me to say it, or do you want me to hold on to it?
No. You get to introduce the truth, and then as you're like looking around, your truth can be anything. It doesn't have to be where the gunshots came from.
So Meryl is squinting at bloody Gigi and watching this thing, and just as she's saying, that we've got to run, and that we're running out of time, and then he hears these gunshots, he just activates, right, and takes the railing of the deck. Comes out into the lawn and is listening and stays up near the deck. And did the gunshots, can he tell if they came from behind the house or in front of the house or what? Can I tell where they came from with my 2 5s?
Let's say, yeah, absolutely. So it seems like they came from the direction that you just exited from, and I'll add that Meryl very quickly puts it together that he believes that they've probably been followed to this place.
Like, mutters, God damn it. And he's like, everybody inside. And then, like, without breaking his stride, takes the back of the house and walking at about 1.5 speed with the rifle up and not even really like crouched and goose stepping, just straight up Terminator walking around the side of the house to where we heard the gunshots, and he's scanning the tree line for wherever this came from.
You know what? I like this. Travis, I want you to pick who you move the spotlight to next, who we have make a move or decision next.
Oh man. I think that it's Gigi. She just had done this whole thing. I think she's forgotten. I think we got to go to Jay. Jay needs the spotlight because he's holding the book and he's watching all this happen. And I want to know what's running through his head, since apparently he's heard a lot about the devil. And so I'm gonna kick it to Jay.
Jay, you see Gigi rise from the stream. You see the panic as she tells you all that you have to run. There's not much time, and then you hear gunshot. For a moment, you've heard enough gunshots in your life to know how dangerous they are. Where's Jay's mind, and what does Jay do in this moment?
I think that there is a brief flashback to the top of the lighthouse. That was another confusing and scary time. And then Jay hears Meryl yelling for everyone to get inside. And Jay is going to, in a stark difference to the lighthouse, going to push Wren towards the lighthouse.
Towards the log cabin?
Sorry, not towards the lighthouse, towards the log cabin. Sorry, I was just going back, because stark difference from the lighthouse moment, but similar.
Yeah.
Gonna push her towards the log cabin, and actually try to continue pushing her.
Wren, as all of this is happening, Jay pretty much pushes you out of Gigi's arms. You got a little bit of whatever that blood is on your clothes, on your forearm, and he's trying to push you towards the log cabin where Meryl is calling out. Would you allow him to basically push you along? Would you do anything else?
If he just grabs me out of nowhere, I might try to resist him just because I don't know if I know what's going on.
Okay. In that case, I need Jay to make me a desperate grit roll. Wren, as you have this moment where you're confused and you're resisting Jay for a moment, you look off into the woods and you see several individuals there through the tree lines just for a moment. You see Doug Binks. You see Naomi. You don't see Robert. You're not sure if there's anyone else out there.
That's gonna be one die.
You need a 5 or a 6.
One die. Nope, that's a 1. Just like last time.
So, Jay, you try to pull Wren towards the door, and Wren, you push him back. You see through the tree line in this moment, Doug and Naomi. And as he continues to push you, you lose view of them. And then 3 more gunshots ring out. And you look down, Wren, and you see Jay slumping forward in your arms. A hole through the right side of his chest, blood spilling out. Now it's on your clothes too. Jay, it takes you a moment to realize that you've been shot. You realize it because your leg stops working, just like it did all those years ago. You go off your feet. The way you twist your foot, somehow your foot slides out of its boot. Your boot's just standing there, one boot in the snow. You're in Wren's arms. You feel numb. Jay, what do you do?
Jay will press the book into Wren's grasp. Probably got blood on it now. And just say, run.
Wren, as you look down, you see the book in your hands. Jay slips out of your arms and falls to the scorched ground. You see him starting to twitch, starting to convulse on the ground. And something draws your vision away just for a moment. You find yourself looking at that boot in the snow. And that's where we'll end our story for tonight.
Oh my god.
I'm going to take this moment to thank everyone who is watching for joining us on this journey. If you're live, give us a thumbs up in chat. Let us know you're all right. If you are over on YouTube, let us know your feelings. That is perfectly valid. Just tell us how you're feeling, how you're doing. Tell us who you think should be in the jail under the hatch in the woods. We're here for your opinions, and we appreciate you so much for joining us. Let's take a second and go around, check in with everybody, make sure everyone is all right, hear their favorite and least favorite part of today's show, and where we can find them on the internet. I'm actually going to start with Don today. Give the cast a second, figure out their shit. How you doing? And what was your favorite moment and all that stuff?
I don't know. I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. I had a lot of fun. I love playing this game with this group of people because everybody's, they're just so in it and they care so much about each other. Like the players, you know, everybody's friends, they care about each other. All the characters care about each other in different ways. And it's just a real joy to play. It's a joy in its funniest moments and in its darkest moments for me. And I liked this episode. I think it's hard not to have like short-sighted vision when you rank things. But if this wasn't my favorite episode, it was definitely one of them. I really enjoyed this session. I loved the scene that we just kind of let roll in the church for a while. I thought that was really, really cool character interaction with everybody. I loved your makeup. I love the clown face that you put on in secret before you returned to us later on in the stream. I really enjoyed the scene with Gigi and her mom and you know, the cell. I liked all of it. It's hard to pick one. I just feel real lucky to get to share this, play this game, and you know, hang out with everybody. And yeah, that's it. You can follow me online. I write stuff and I run stuff, run other games and I write games. I put it all on my Twitter. And, you know, if you're interested, then follow me there because that's where you'll find anything else that I'm up to.
Thank you very much. Let's drop on down to Tommy, since we just finished today with Tommy. Let's go and check in with him first. You got shot again, friend.
Yeah, I got shot again, and I don't think I'm gonna survive this one. I have a strong feeling I'm not gonna survive this one. We'll see, but I've got a pretty strong feeling I'm not gonna survive this one. Oh my gosh, that was a session and a half. Oh, there were a lot of great moments. Oh boy. Trying I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite moment out of all that. There were so many good moments. I mean, I think Gigi rising out of the blood is kind of just a pretty A+ moment there. But also in chat, I thanked Don for not shooting Wren. This is kind of like one of those moments from like that Brooklyn Nine-Nine moment where it's like, if Wren dies, I will kill everyone here and then myself. Moment. So yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I got shot again. I mean, it's gonna take some time to process that. Great session as always. I am at Imperative Pengu on the Twitter sphere. I play tabletop RPG games and do some video editing work. Specifically, I am over on Salty Sweet Games tomorrow afternoon at 12 p.m. Eastern, where we play Call of Cthulhu, where I haven't gotten shot yet somehow, despite this just haven't gotten shot yet. So we'll see how long that lasts. Come check that out. It's a great game with some awesome people. Other than that, follow me on Twitter to hear about the things when and where I'll be.
Thank you so much. Oh, having a moment. All right, let's go on up to Lydia in the middle there, the heart of the group, little Wren. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Would you like to take another run at that, Lydia?
That was such a good session. I can't believe that like Jay is dying in my arms right now, and I have a haunted book, and Gigi emerged from a blood river. All of those can count as my favorite parts, I guess. Also, my dog just keeps high-fiving me over here, so I'm trying to keep him away. Oh boy, I can't even think straight. So I'll just go ahead and exit. So if you want, you can find me on Twitter at Lydia Heals. I'll actually be back here on Monday, right? Because it's May the 4th.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a second part to our Star Wars one-shot. All right.
All right. 3 p.m. Eastern, that will be May the 4th. Star Wars Fun with Lydia. That's the next show on Encounter Roleplay. So please come and hang out with us. Josh.
I that was an episode. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't like the only thing like I'm not ready to talk about it, but I will tell you that these are some of the most amazing people on the interwebs, and you should follow every single one of them right now because they're amazing. And if you don't, then clowns will come and like hell and stuff. I don't know. Like you should follow all of these people. And because of Charlie, I will never trust again. You can find me at roleplayers_TV on the internet, where I will be processing this online and stuff. That's it. That's the plug.
Awesome. Please do go and check out Josh. Josh did an amazing Hitman 2 stream today. That if you weren't there, go and see if you can find the VOD. It was a good time. Yes, we will be debriefing off air. If anyone has any concerns, don't worry. We will be chatting afterwards and looking after each other. Let's go on up to the wonderful Ray, who has snatched her wig because the stress is too real.
Oh my goodness, I was sweaty. I needed to take it off. Usually I really try to keep it on till on the stream, but man, today really got me. Today was intense. Definitely one of the most intense RPG sessions I've been a part of, and I absolutely love this group, and I love how this story is progressing. It's fantastic. Favorite part, Gigi coming up from the blood. Least favorite part, Gigi coming up from the blood. It was amazing, but also terrifying in a very Carrie-esque moment. I love all the little snippets of everything that happens because I don't know if they are the influences to the scenes, but they are the horror movies that I correlate with what is going on. And there were just a lot of great moments today, a lot of really awesome, interesting things that have kind of shaped very in a very large way what's going on and give us a very great picture. But yeah, no, this is intense, and I'm really thankful for this group. I'm thankful for Don for weaving this story, and for the rest of us for weaving it with him. And yeah, let's see what happens next week. But yeah, you can follow me on With a Brick, 2Ks, almost everywhere on the interwebs. I do other things in the RPG community, so follow me over there.
And Travis, my conspiracy theory king, who I am looking forward to hearing your theories about what is going to happen. How are you doing, friend?
Oh man, we got like 4 or 5 things we got to pay off in like 2 shows. This is going to be crazy. I'm really going to drive John nuts. Be like, and then this happens. Yeah, so it's going to be some shit. Today was badass. It's a fucking reverse carry, man. I didn't even think about that until you said it. She came up in the blood, coming up out of the blood. It's great. Gigi's my new favorite, like scream queen, and hopefully our final girl. I think is my vote for horror movie final girl at this point. But so also all the stuff with Wren. I know what she keeps saying, like, I don't know why, but I get behind Meryl. I was like, I know why you get behind Meryl, because Meryl's ready to shoot shit and rock and roll. So it's good times. Also, I've started a GoFundMe for Josh's therapy, so just check out my website. We've got a goal going. So,
like, my new apocalypse survival plan is just find Trav. That's it. It's one bullet point. It's just
don't
find
do
Travis.
it. Don't
People
do it.
know what to do.
That's the power of character work, because you're screwed. Raisin Bran. You're going to find Raisin Bran and action figures over here, and neither of those will help you in the apocalypse. And like lightsabers, and not real ones, just like toy ones that don't cut things. Anyway, so this has been great. I'm producer Trav. I love this. Aliens is canceled tonight, but we're going to play on the 8th and the 22nd. And we got some mystery guests, and we got some cool surprises coming up. So don't miss it. Next Friday, Laugh Love Lindy. Be there. Catch it. Monday. Fucking Star Wars. Gonna be awesome. I'm like a revolutionary. Friggin' I can't remember his name. What's the guy? Forrest Whitaker. Except I'm an alien. Anyway. So, and I play D&D on Monday and Tuesday nights, and I cut WebDM. I love this game, and I appreciate Charlie for the opportunity. Let's rock.
Speaking of WebDM, please go and check out the latest episode, which is all about unicorns and features Jim Ross, which is possibly my favorite Photoshop that Travis has ever done. Maybe. ? I'm going to shout out a couple of things. I want to shout out our very good friend Susanna Grace, who has finally made it to Canada today after a long and perilous effort, and is finally united with her husband. Super excited for Susie. Sending her some love. Sending love to all of the people here on screen right now, and to all of you at home. Please come back and catch us on Monday when we do go to a galaxy far, far away with a wonderful crew. Next week, we have that Guards finale on Wednesday. I'm going to show you the trailer for that at the end of this. And then on Friday, we have a double bill where it will be the spy game from Follow Black Cats, and then more Haunting of Seawall Orphanage. The week after that is going to be our channel break, because the new season is coming. So also keep an eye on Encounter Roleplay's Twitter and Discord, because that's where all the announcements will be. Unless I got the math wrong, we got 2 weeks. It's something like that. I'm going to go and have a meltdown. My favorite moment was Meryl revealing himself as a member of the Mafia robbing banks. Thank you so much for the joy that is this game. Try not to roll too many net ones, because the world just goes to shit every time you do. Much love. We'll see you soon.